Well, there's 7 reasons that I believe that the Bible is true and you can trust the Bible. The first one we saw was Jesus Christ and his apostles, because he just said so. And those apostles were, and the prophets were utterly convinced that the Bible was true. And we saw what Jesus thought about the Bible last week. But another reason, and really a third major one, is I believe that the Bible authenticates itself through its scientific accuracy. And I know most of us now, I'm going into this slow, because most of us didn't enjoy science too much, right? And you got a little queasy when they took out those stiff frogs out of the formaldehyde and ran off and got sick in the bathroom, and then you had to cut it up, if you remember old 8th grade biology. We're not going to talk about that. What we're going to talk about is the fact that when so much has changed in our world, in fact, nearly every day in some realms, science has flux, change, restatement, and casting out old and disproved theories, and often they find they've made complete errors and they're mistaken and they go a new direction. That's what's going on in the scientific community. But in this book, and we're only going to look briefly, we're just going to go down a little bit and come back up. We won't go down, stay down deep, and stay down long so you drown, but we're just going to take a little cut through the Bible scientifically. And I think what you'll find is what I've said several times this morning, that when God speaks, he always says it right the first time, and you can trust him. If you want to look at some verses with me, you can start right in the middle in Psalm 119. And you might want to, on the back of your bulletin, write some of these down about science in the Bible. But I want to show you a few things. Psalm 119, 89 says this, "Forever, O Lord, thy word is settled in heaven." In other words, it's not going to change. God said it right the first time. "Thy faithfulness," Psalm 119:90, "is to all generations. Thou hast established the earth, and it abideth." The reason why this planet is here right now is not because it just evolved and by the selection of the best planets it happened to make it. God planned it, and he put it together. He established the earth, and abideth. Verse 91 says, "They," that's all the laws of this planet, "continue to this day according to thy mishpat." That's an interesting Hebrew word. That's the commands of God. And I thought it was interesting. In April, the scientific community announced the newest level of knowledge about subatomic physics. And you know all the to do with that and all the accelerators and the subparticle accelerators and all the stuff that's going on that billions of dollars are being spent on. And they're learning things all the time. And they've learned that every time they go down a level, it wasn't until about 1911 that they realized that there was a nucleus and all that stuff and all the radiating out on the gold plates, and then Marie Curie and all that stuff built up, and then they learned in the 40s to split the atom and through Einstein and all that team. But now they've gone down below that, and they keep going down below the nucleus into the subatomic particles, and they've gotten to what they thought was the bottom floor, and the quarks, not quirks, quarks. And these little things down there, and they found there were 6 of them, and they found a top and a bottom and other ones. And so then they started experimenting on these, and in April they shared their findings. And they said everything we thought about them was true until we got to 1,000th of their mass. And then we found out that there's another whole layer we don't know anything about. But this is what the end of the article in Science magazine said. They said the only problem we have is that when these subatomic particles, we don't even know what they are, they're quarks, whatever that is. They're down really little. It says they all seem to know what each other are doing. When this one goes this way, that one goes that way. So when we go that one, this one goes this way, and it says like they're all connected. And they said, we don't understand that. And I started reading the article, and I thought, the deeper they go, they're just going to find God. Because the Scriptures say, look at verse 91, "They continue this day according to thy ordinances for all particles, planets, galaxies, clouds of dust, quasars to the quarks." All of them, verse 91 says, "are thy servants." They cannot explain how it all fits together. God says, I hold them together. And when they go down deep, they're only going to find God. And they're going to try and explain it in a different way. Look at another one, Psalm 119, verse 160. "Thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endures forever." God says, I didn't just throw my word out and hope I was going to make it. He says, from the beginning, when I put out my word, everything I said was true, and it's going to endure to the end. Now, Old news magazines, those aren't going to endure. Encyclopedias, they're not going to endure. Science books, they're not going to endure. But God says, my word endures to the end.